Hey everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday show for February 10th, 2011.
Kicking it off and off the press. Whole bunch of trailers.
Yeah, because the Superb Owl. I didn't get the joke. I like football. So the Super Bowl was last week. And with that comes lots of commercials, and with the commercials comes lots of trailers.
I think this year was the most watched Super Bowl of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And there was probably at least 30% that were only watching it for the commercials.
Yeah, and if you lived in Canada and you were not a Rogers customer, you got only Canadian ads. Thanks, Bell.
Which really weren't nearly as entertaining.
We got some of the movie ads, but we didn't get the cool Bieber ad.
Yeah.
Which is all I wanted.
See Justin Bieber? He's got a movie coming out, you know. Anyway, lots of trailers to show you from Super Bowl. That's what we're bringing you in off the press.
Tech Insight, HP had their big WebOS announcement yesterday, and they've released an HP product I actually want to purchase.
A couple of HP products this time.
Yeah, which is and Palm's dead. The Palm.
It is now HP WebOS.
The Palm name it's gone, which hurts me a little, but
it's true.
Looks like some sweet tech. So
in science this week, we're checking out some optogenetics.
it's disturbing.
It seems that way.
They can control your brain with things. Well, it's not for that, but that's what I read when I read the article. So Sean will tell you about that.
Indeed.
Behind the lens, we've got other 20,000 cameras announced.
Something like that. Canon, Nikon, a little bit of Olympus. Then there's some lens news as well.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we're bringing you an awesome review of the Konova Slider.
Yeah, we just got that in-house. It's if you're looking for a low-cost slider, it's pretty fantastic.
But we'll have more on that behind the lens. Without further ado, it's time for Off the Press. Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Press. Apparently, there's this thing where these guys, they throw this pigskin that's sort of shaped like a watermelon at down a field at each other. It's popular from what I've heard.
It's not, it's a cooperative sport that allows for team building, and it's a family game.
And somehow there's superb owls involved.
Yes.
So.
Well, only later in the season anyway.
Oh, okay. But what's really popular with this sport is between these intermissions of sorts is that they run commercials,
which is neat. Like I really do enjoy the commercials that happen during the Super Bowl. But again, being that we live in Canada, I just don't really get to enjoy them first run. So this year I was on Twitter while these commercials and the trailers or the TV spots were happening for movies, and all these people were like, "Oh my God, that blew my mind!" And I'm just like, so.
Well, I remember last year, YouTube just a couple hours after it finished airing, they had a whole thing where you could go to a panel and you could flip through all the different commercials, and that's how I watched most of last year's one. They had a really funny one last year from Denny's where all the chickens everywhere were running because Denny was giving away free eggs, and they were all going to be basically slave labored into producing way too many eggs, and it was pretty funny.
Oh. It was neat. I think it was Fox Sports did that this year, where it was like vote on what's the best commercial. Except they didn't have any of the movie spots or anything like that, but it was neat.
But importantly this year,
one. That was cool.
Yeah. Importantly this year, though, was the fact that there was four movie trailers that everyone was kind of anticipating. So we'll start
not trailers like commercials. I mean, they were 30 seconds.
That's a trailer. 30 seconds.
Trailette.
I mean, commercials can be like 10 seconds long and be effective. So 30 seconds is a pretty decent amount of time. It's a lot of money they spent on advertising for 30 seconds of a Super Bowl.
I can't remember what the rate is, but like 5 years ago, it was $1 million for half a minute.
Yeah.
Just astounding how much money is spent on advertising, particularly during the Super Bowl.
So first up, the new Captain America trailer. So this is the first actual trailer for Captain America.
First time we've actually seen some footage, seen something other than those. It's funny because a lot of the fans are like, just give me anything. And then we get that one picture of Bucky Barnes that was blowing up, and he is brutal. But we needed something. Yeah. And then finally, and a lot of the comments on Twitter were, give me more. I want more.
So I thought it was pretty funny in this trailer that he starts off as this wimpy little kid. Yeah. Which I was like, doesn't even look like Chris Evans. And then he gets all jacked up in a machine, and then he's Captain America.
Yeah.
There's some running around. There's not really any fighting or anything. doesn't really tell you a whole lot about what's going on, except for that he is Captain America.
Red Skull. There's a shot of the Red Skull ripping off his.
Yes, yeah,
His
pretty
face
briefly.
mask.
So still leaves a lot to be questioned
Yeah.
as to what's going on. But finally, there's some actual footage.
Yes.
So got a new Thor trailer,
Yes.
which I thought was pretty decent. It showed a little bit more of the background story and the other people that are going to be involved.
Very little. For the people who saw the big 5-minute thing before it was taken down, way back when, not a lot of new stuff there.
Yeah.
But really, I thought it was good. It was very. This one is much more concise. It was a boom, 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 boom. We have 30 seconds. Here we go, spitting it all at you.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
I liked it. I am now past the point of being terrified. I'm now like, okay, there's going to be some really bad stuff, but it's Thor, so I really am looking forward to it.
So we also got to see Cowboys and Aliens.
Cowboys and Aliens, my goodness.
And this one we actually get to sort of see the aliens to some degree, because we get to see their ships very briefly.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a little bit more insight as to what's going on there.
I keep forgetting Harrison Ford's in that movie.
I do. I keep forgetting that as well. It's like,
And then he says- I'm
Harrison
like,
Ford.
Awesome, I forgot, because I keep
Yeah.
thinking, hey, James Bond's in this one. And then Harrison Ford's, and I'm like, hey, Han Solo's in there too, cool.
Plus,
So-
plus the chick from Tron is in it. And there's a scene in the trailer where it implies that she's not wearing clothes. So I'm excited about that because she's really attractive.
I'm not because, because just prior to that, I had seen the Captain America trailer.
That's, he swings more to Chris Evans than, but that looks interesting. It's going to be a good cast. I think it kind of shows a little bit more action. I still don't know what's going on, but I think that's kind of
That
the
looks
point.
like, to me, to be a really well-rounded movie.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with the writing that I've seen thus far. The casting I thought was really good. The special effects are quite enjoyable. And we got Steven Spielberg's in there. I don't know how much influence he's had in this, but they've thrown his name on it rather prominently.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looks interesting.
Yeah.
We also got a little bit more from Super 8, which only had a teaser previously of something trying to bust out of a train car,
Which I missed. I didn't see the teaser, so this is my first exposure to Super 8.
So this is kind of implying that the movie's about some incident that happens that may or may not involve a creature, and some kids happen to get it on videotape, and then sort of
Or Super 8.
Well, Super 8, yes, because this appears to be taking place in like the 50s kind of time frame.
It kind of has that sort of pre-Close Encounters of the Third Kind kind of feel.
Yeah, so it looks interesting. I'm excited for it. I like J.J. Abrams' work. I think he's a good filmmaker, so I'm kind of excited to see it. And it's interesting to know a little bit more about what it's about, because really we had no idea except for the fact that there's something in this trailer. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah.
So not specifically related to the Super Bowl, but...
No, it was actually just released today.
Yes. Is the new trailer for X-Men...
Yeah.
What is it? First
Class.
First Class, that's it.
It was. It's neat because there was this whole countdown. And they were like, "Wait till we announce the release of the trailer on our Facebook page." And oddly enough, I kept checking the Facebook page like every hour, and they're like, "It's this afternoon." I'm like, "This afternoon? It's like 5 o'clock already." They're like, and then I forgot to see the PST, the Pacific Standard Time, and I was like, But then about 6 o'clock, they released it. I saw it almost right away. I thought because I've had such a bad feeling about this movie. I mean, I was thinking Wolverine, but worse. And which was kind of, for me, for a comic fan, I think, hard to imagine. But I saw this trailer, and I thought they did a really good job.
I'm
of getting me
legitimately excited about this. I mean,
Yeah.
I've sort of written off the X-Men series because it's just gotten so overdone.
Yeah.
But I think this could be really good. Because it's
Yeah.
kind of showing where Professor Xavier and Magneto came from, and before they were all superheroes of sorts.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of it's an origin story but because so many people are involved, I think it has potential to suck a lot less.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. It's a prequel, and what I was surprised with, though, is that it is so definitely a prequel. Because I thought this was just going to be, well, we're going to do an X-Men movie, but we can't really do a fourth movie, and I don't want to reboot it, so I guess our only option is to do a prequel. But this looks like they've taken the whole aspect of doing a prequel very seriously, and I like it. I enjoyed the trailer, and I am, again, surprised at how much I'm looking forward to the movie at this point.
Yeah. So slightly related to Captain America, they've finally brought out, I guess, an official movie poster now.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. It's pretty grim. It's pretty gritty. So.
It's Dave's new desktop wallpaper.
No, it is. Crap.
So Jerry Ryan, we talked about this previously, the Mortal Kombat web series. So Jerry Ryan is officially signed on for it. I don't really care. I don't really
Yeah.
like Jerry Ryan.
I don't like Mortal Kombat. I'm indifferent about Jerry Ryan.
But I'm sure all the Jerry Ryan fans are very excited.
Yes, there were some very very excited responses on the web in the forum where they reposted the link to the trailer, and they were just like, "Oh, she's amazing!" And it's like, what I have found interesting though is that Jerry Ryan does not seem to have aged.
Yeah, well,
So
it's because she's a robot, isn't she? I mean, you thought she
That's
was
the
playing a
magic of
character
Borg
in Star
technology.
Trek, but she's really actually that
actually
person.
is a Borg. Yeah.
Yeah. And lastly, and hopefully never to be real, there's been some rumors that
Yeah.
Justin Bieber is going to be Captain Canuck. I don't even know who Captain Canuck is, but I don't want it to be Justin Bieber.
Yeah, Canadian superhero, basically a Canadian Captain America without a shield.
Does he fight crime with Tim Hortons and a hockey stick?
No.
Oh.
But he does have a great big red maple leaf on his suit. This is so, for people who are concerned, Canadians who are having little nightmares in their heads already and are considering eating a bullet, it is so pre-production at this point. It's just, it's someone threw a big name that everyone knew onto this project. $15 million budget, so not a big budget. Someone threw a name onto it to sort of generate buzz, is my impression at this point. So
hopefully it'll never come to fruition.
I would like to see a Captain Canuck movie.
Just
I
not
would like to
Justin
see
Bieber.
a bigger budget. Justin Bieber, it makes no sense beyond attracting people with his name.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of Justin Bieber, this week's new releases. If you've been waiting and anticipating Justin Bieber, Never Say Never in 3D, you can have it this weekend at your local cinema. Or if that's not your thing and really you're more excited about animated lawn gnomes, you can go check out Nomeo and Juliet, which looks equally as terrible.
We also got
On Blu-ray, we're looking at the Doctor Who, the movie, but the release for us, I guess. We finally get it now. I don't really know what that is. It's a Sam thing, and she's not even here to tell us about it.
I've seen them all, and I don't know if we're getting any extra on this. Is the thing. I'm gonna have to wait till someone gets it. I'm not gonna go out and buy it blind because I bought all this stuff on iTunes, I should say.
Yeah.
So I'm just not.
Also, if you were really excited about Paranormal 1 and didn't go see Paranormal 2 in theaters, you probably don't care about Paranormal 2. But it is coming out on DVD. And obviously Blu-ray. Paranormal Activity.
They did a sequel?
Yeah. It's not nearly as good because you
Wow.
kind of, it's the same story, just a different house.
Spoiler. Not really.
And finally, in video game releases this week, we've got Test Drive Unlimited 2 coming out for pretty much all the platforms. Well, all the platforms that can actually play something with graphics. Which is a large open world racing game. It's supposed to be a whole bunch of new stuff, like you can invite all your friends in, you can customize your cars, and it's a big world that you can race around in. So if you like cars, check it out. And also, we've got Mario Sports Mix for the Wii, obviously.
What?
Capitalizing on that Mario name for
Finally.
like the 5th millionth time.
Yeah. It's funny, though, in Japan, because I'm like, why the hell? You could release these insane, awesome, mind-blowing games and use them as like your mascot for a system. I mean, Mario's, quaint and all, but in Japan, they're like, Mario, oh my god, I can't wait to get the next Mario. And it's like,
It's Japan for you.
wow, you guys are kind of messed up, aren't you?
It's Japan for you.
I mean, I love Japan, probably. I mean, I've never met Japan, but...
And on that wraps up off the press for this week.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to From the Gutters. This week I'm going to be reviewing Nemesis. This is written by Mark Miller and illustrated by J.G. Jones. The story is mostly about a bad guy. And there were a lot of stories. There were two other movies of note that were sort of coming out at roughly the same time. Despicable Me and Megamind, both computer animated movies, family movies. and they're about bad guys who won. And this is one where the bad guy, that this comic, I was talking to Sean about this and we were discussing it, and it really came down to, you know what, it's an over-the-top comic. Typically, I do not enjoy Mark Millar's writing because it is over the top for the sake of being over the top. I'm going to write this insane story that is so upsetting that it's going to sell huge numbers, and it works, absolutely, as a marketing tool. But it doesn't appeal to me. This story, though, is about a character, the world's only bad guy, only super bad guy. Basically, he's what if Batman went bad? He's got the superpower of writing really big checks. And he's got some kind of grudge against the world's greatest cop. So he sets up a big scenario where he's going to get this bad guy, where he's going to get this cop. He's going to kill the cop, or he's going to ruin this cop's life. A bunch of things happen. The cop is very displeased with what happens. He's basically ruined his public image. He's ruined his family life. The cop manages to get through it all, but Nemesis has made his mark. Basically, the bad guy wins. The illustration, J.G. Jones, is sort of notorious for not being able to keep a schedule, and this was only a 4-issue series, so it was nice and short. It was late. It didn't quite conform to schedule, but J.G. Jones' art, I love his artwork. It's gorgeous artwork. He uses very thin line work on this, and the way he has captured action and emotion in this book was really well done. I was very pleased visually with this story. And Mark Millar surprised me. I was very pleased with the writing as well. Came out in a collection this week, hardcover. For a hardcover, it's actually pretty affordable. US price point, $19.99. I recommend this book. I give this book an A-. It surprised me more than anyone. Anyway, that is it this week from the Gutters. I'm Dave. Talk to you next week.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're kicking it off with some Palm, but is now HP news.
Yes, HP bought Palm, now Palm is no more, but Palm lives on in WebOS. So HP had a WebOS announcement yesterday, and basically they announced a new phone, another new phone, and most importantly, a new tablet.
Yes.
Along with a new version of WebOS.
Yes.
So we're up to 2.2 now as the shipping version on all these products. Very similar to the other ones. I think it's just kind of streamlined and kind of ported over to make the tablet less an expanded phone.
Yeah.
So you got the HP Veer,
which is a really bitty phone.
It's 2.6 inches.
Yeah.
Which is kind of small. 3.6? 2.6.
Yeah, the 3.6 is the pre.
Yeah. It's fairly small. It still has the fold-out keyboard.
Yeah.
Not very powerful either, but 800 megahertz, so it's kind of like a standard phone for about last year.
Yeah. But I think they're really targeting like probably teenagers or like housewives or something that want a phone that does a little bit more, but they don't want something that's big as a smartphone.
If the performance is there, which I'm assuming it would be if they've streamlined the OS, then if it comes in at like say $50 on a contract, then that's going to be. I don't think it'll sell tons.
No, but I think there'll be people interested in it.
I think it's good that they're having their phone, their platform on different markets.
Yes.
And they're not just doing like the iPhone does and say this is the smartphone market.
Yeah.
They're kind of branching out, which is good. Then they got the Palm Pre 3.
Yes, which has a 1.4 gigahertz processor, which is
quick.
awesome. But it only has the same amount of RAM as the last model, which I believe is 512.
Yes.
512. So it's not going to be super fast. Some people are kind of, but they did go to a 3.6-inch screen.
Yep.
And it's 800 by 480. So they upped the resolution on it, which really it needed.
Same
5
form
megapixel
factor.
Camera as
same
well.
Same form factor as before. Has a front-facing camera.
Although they've said they've put the biggest keys to date on it, so they've improved the key size.
Yeah. Whatever that.
They're kind of touting it as a business phone, which it won't be, but they're trying to make it as they've tried to improve the keyboard and improve the screen size and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of excited for it.
It looks like a good phone.
It does.
It should be snappy. I think even with the low RAM, don't be too cautious about that because it's got a really quick processor, so you can kind of throw the balance
And they
in
do
there somewhere.
multitasking really well.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But it looks really quick. It's got front-facing camera for video conferencing. They're telling video conferencing. It's got 5-megapixel rear-facing camera. It'll do 720p video. It looks pretty good. Nothing mind-blowing. Like, it's not dual-core. It's not going to compete with an Atrix.
But if you're a Palm Pre fan now, it's probably what you're looking for in a lot of respects.
And it is a world phone, so it'll go on CDMA and HSPA Plus networks.
Yeah.
So that's good. So we should see it popping up on carriers hopefully this year sometime. Most excitingly was the touchpad.
Yes.
And that's their tablet, 9.7 inches, 1024 by 768 resolution, so basically the same size as the iPad. And it looks very iPad-esque,
Yes.
the way it's designed.
Well, because Palm uses that sort of dock at the bottom, which is similar to your sort of home keys on your iPad.
Yeah,
So
it's very similar. The OS looks amazing. Very similar to Apple in terms of applications. Like the browser looks very similar.
Yeah.
And the
Although-
mail client especially looks very similar.
But arguably, a lot of that stuff looked pretty similar in Palm already.
No, and really there'd be no other way to do it well.
Yeah.
There's variations, but it looks really good. It's 1.2 dual core, which is pretty good. Comes in 16 and 32 gig variations. It's going to have a 3G option, Wi-Fi. It's to compete with
Now, what's
the
cool is
Zoom and-
they're really touting the connectivity between that and the phones.
Yes.
So you can open up a page on your browser and you basically just like swipe it down. You touch your phone on top of your browser,
And it comes up
and
on
then
the-
it comes up on
yeah.
your phone, which is awesome.
Which is a lot of people are like, oh, whatever, and I'm like, no, I would use that all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the time.
You're
And
checking something out, you got to leave, but you need those directions. Boom, there you go.
Or you open up a link in your email on your phone.
Yeah.
Because even with laptops and tablets, I think I'd probably still look at my email first on the phone.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that link. Bam. Oh, it's a real website.
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing it on something.
Now, is it going to
sizable.
support Flash? I would assume so because the Pre is supporting Flash. So, cool.
Which is good. To be honest, this is going to be one of the tablets I hope to compete.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this just kind of
Now,
squander away.
some early reviews of saying that it's a little bit laggy, but it's not.
They're not
finally yet.
production units. It's just
Yeah.
like the first time we saw the playbook, it was a little bit laggy. The next time they played with the playbook, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Just
So
the thing is,
I'm hoping it can get a little bit more polished.
Yeah. The problem is you get leaks of actual demos with this, whereas with the iPad you never would. You'd only see the final product.
Yeah.
I think it looks really good. I think HP did a lot of good things with Palm here. Hopefully moving forward, they said they're going to put WebOS on the PC by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's for touch. Maybe they're touch
Well,
smarts.
HP does make their touch smart, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't be surprising to see that ported over.
But this is the smartest I've ever seen HP act.
Yeah.
In terms of shipping quality products that look really enticing to consumers and also professionals, right? I mean, as you said, they're kind of gearing the Pre a little bit towards business. I don't think they'll
Now, I
get
think
there.
the
But
problem right now is that they're slating all this stuff for the summer, and that's a hard thing to do because by the summer there'll be other stuff that's better.
well, and that's the problem with this mobile market is you have to
When you announce stuff, it's got to come out, next week.
but no one's done that yet.
Yeah.
And you know what? The iPad won't do that because they're saying the iPad 2 is going to be announced by the end of this month, but it's not going to ship till March, April, May.
Well, actually, I've heard that the iPad 2 might not get announced till September.
Well, I've heard the iPad 3 is getting announced in September.
Oh, well, that's a short life cycle.
It's the iPad announcements, rumors are ridiculous, and I don't even want to talk about the iPad
No.
because these are much more exciting products, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the one thing I think where Palm has a chance, HP has a chance to win, the integration features.
Absolutely.
Apple has none
It's true.
at all. And you know what? Even Android has some.
Which is surprising considering how well Apple integrates the
Yeah.
software within their own systems.
You'd think there'd be some synergies there between the iPhone and the iPad because a lot of people have both.
Yeah.
But there are none. Now, that's not saying they're not going to come up with some.
No.
But that's definitely an advantage that HP is going to have going forward. Maybe Google, but this is a lot better implemented because they control the hardware and the software.
Yeah.
So we'd go HP, and if that comes in at a reasonable price, I'd buy that over an iPad probably.
So decisions that weren't a great idea.
Dell.
Dell's recent tablet announcement.
So Dell had a professional announcement. It was not a very exciting announcement, but those kinds aren't. They renewed their business lines,
Okay.
which they have to do.
Yes.
That's fine. The new line
People
looks
need business computers.
The new line looks good. That they sell more of those than the new consumer computers, but they look fine. But they also announced, hey, we're going to make a 10-inch Windows 7 tablet, which was kind of like, okay, I thought we all decided that Windows 7 tablets were a bad idea, but they're announcing that now. And which would not be a big deal. The only reason I bring this up was because the tablet they had looked like this. Basically, it's a fake mock-up.
Yes.
And you know what? You can't have that these days, an announcement, and have people take you seriously.
No, it's true.
Like, they must be so far off producing that.
We're so close. We have a picture of it.
Yeah,
and we've
and
taped it to something.
It looked like they glued a screenshot from one of their PCs onto like a square dinner plate.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, look at the tablet, look, it later.
Picture, it didn't happen.
And it's just, why, Dell? What? That's ridiculous.
You know, and Dell has the capability to not do that.
No,
so.
Dell's come out with some pretty new stuff. They're they're a big computer manufacturer. This looks stupid. And really, at this point in the game, if you're going to, don't announce it then if you don't have a working tablet. Don't. Announce it later. What are you thinking? Go talk to HP, see if they give you some pointers.
Yeah. So speaking of Flash earlier, Flash 10.2 has come out now.
Yes.
And it's touting some pretty good new features.
This is actually the only time I'd ever be excited about a Flash release is this late one. We finally get graphics acceleration on the Mac, hardware acceleration, which a lot of people have been waiting for because Flash and Macs don't.
Yeah.
So hopefully...
from what I've heard, it's much better performance on
Hopefully,
Mac.
yeah. And I think that would make sense. Most Macs have decent graphics on board anyway, so take advantage of that. A few other stability things. There's a big push for HD video, so there's allowing a little bit more direct interfacing with the hardware to render 1080p video, which is good. Flash is kind of accepting that that's where this is going. And most excitingly, the only reason I am even updating to Flash 10.2 is because you can now have full screen video on one monitor and not have it go unfull screen when you do anything else on the other monitor.
Which is really nice if you do multitask.
I've hacked Flash at every version to allow me to do that. And it gets really annoying because sometimes they push like 10.2.1.2.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh crap. You go to watch a video on like Netflix is civil light, but like we don't have Hulu, but Canadian Hulu. And then you go and open a Word document, it's like, boop! You're like, so thank you for finally implementing a feature you should have had 12 versions ago.
It's true.
But that's good. To round out the segment, we've got some Canadian news. We're big fans of the new entries to the market because they're
like
pushing.
competition.
We love competition. And the mobile market in Canada has been always not competitive in any way. So, people like Win, Mobilicity.
There's some other ones out west.
In not here.
Yeah.
Quebecor, I think, is one or something like that. Anyway.
Something Saskatell or something like that?
Saskatel's a big, huge company.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't have Bell out there.
Ah.
Gets confusing. But anyway, there's some new companies coming in that are small. And originally what happened was they auctioned for the spectrum. So they paid for the spectrum so they could build networks on that frequency, right? When Global Live, who operates Wind, we talked about this on the show, when they came into existence, the problem was to operate a telecom in Canada, you are legally required to have a certain percentage of your company owned by Canadian interest, whether it's stocks in Canada or other companies.
Canada's very, very much about making sure you still do things Canadianly.
Well, it's because we have such a small population, but we're a very big world presence.
Yeah.
Unlike America, where they don't have that problem because they have 300 million people.
Yes.
So we like to protect our own. So the government came in and said, you know what, forget about it. You don't need to meet this regulation because we want to spur competition. Global Live's majority owned by an Egyptian company. Weird that this is coming up now.
Coincidence?
Yeah, so what's happened is that decision went through the courts. So the CRTC said, no, you can't operate. The government said, screw you, CRTC, yes, you can. The court said, no, you can't. So the courts reviewed the decision at the request of Mobilicity, I believe. Don't quote me, it's one of the other small new entrants. I'm pretty sure it was Mobilicity. Came in and said, hey, review that decision, that's BS.
Man, Mobilicity's just playing all kinds of hardball.
They're
They're the ones that did it.
They've done some wacky things. They're not going well. So then the court said, actually, yeah, by the strict rule of the law, the government couldn't overturn that. The government could have changed the law, but they didn't. They just overturned a decision. But what's happened is that the court obviously is not going to go around saying, well, Wind, you can't operate.
Yeah.
They put a hold on the decision. So decision is final. Yes, this has happened, but nothing's going to happen. There's going to be like a review period, chance for appeal and things like that. So be interesting to see what happens there. And there's been some talk that the government's going to change its foreign ownership rules, which is good maybe, depending on what they do.
Yeah.
I think it's probably still a good idea to have them because otherwise it's cheaper just to operate in Canada and be owned somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like if a big company in the States wants to put up a telecom, they can, which I don't fully agree with. I'd rather have
somebody
a small
employed
Canadian
here.
company have a chance
Yeah.
to do that as opposed to a big foreign company, right?
Yeah.
Which is why these rules are here. But at the same time, I don't want to see people like Wind, who still have Canadian ownership, it's
Yes.
just not enough,
Yeah.
get crushed out. So we're going to follow that for you for sure, especially with all the crap the CRTC's been getting.
If you have a Win phone, don't worry about it yet.
No, I wouldn't worry about it. It could get sticky, but I think the government would probably step in and kind of make an allowance or something, change
Yeah.
the law or something, or delay it as long as possible till they fix it. So it's not like Wind's going to go away, but there's some legal action going on there. So it's kind of interesting to see the market develop and how the government's going to react to that.
All right, well, that wraps it up for this week.
It's kind of alive.
Nah, it's still dead.
Oh.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sean's Mad Science. We're here with Sean. It's kind of a biogenetics synthetic week this week.
Yeah, we're looking at kind of
Very little bio-robots.
yeah, actually, and not even completely robotic, which is kind of cool. It's been a couple weeks now. We haven't just brought you robots again and again and again. So I think we should mark
Count
these
it.
on calendars, because that's going to change soon. But yeah, so we're going to kick it off. We got a whole week about essentially humankind trying to change their biology.
It's a little scary.
Yes. First, this one especially is quite scary. We're going to start talking about a neat little field that's up and coming called optogenetics.
Which is a term I've never heard before.
Yeah, put simply, using light to affect biology in a very low area. So, in this case, we're going to talk about using optogenetics to essentially control neurons or even simulate neurons.
So the idea is,
Yeah.
if I have brain damage,
Yep.
they can go into my brain
Yep.
with light
Yep.
and re-stimulate those parts of my brain.
Yeah, but first you have to be infected with a synthetic virus.
So that, because normally brain cells wouldn't react to the light.
No, actually, they wouldn't react. We have found that brain cells do react to light, but not in any kind of fashion that's
Predictable.
predictable.
They become brighter.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But they do actually get stimulated to fire, but it's very unpredictable. They could, they might not, they will
Okay,
not.
so the basic premise is we can engineer these viruses to specifically target certain neurons
Exactly.
so that they behave like we want them to.
Exactly. And so they've done this with lab mice, or lab rats, of course. And it's kind of scary. I didn't want to put the picture in because it's just...
I didn't like it. It was
Yeah.
a little unheartening.
So you have basically a rat with a fiber optic sticking out of its head. And so the whole premise is they use the fiber optics to shine light directly onto onto the area they want, which will stimulate the specific area of the brain they need. So if you need to... the good thing is, we kind of touched on this before, of using fiber optics in place of nerves. This is kind of the next step, where we're not just replacing it with a mechanical or a strictly non-biological. We're still working biologically here, using this, designer virus, which gets kind of scary, because Scott's got a very good paranoia about this one.
Well, because if they can repair my brain, because they're forcing neurons to do what they want,
Mm-hmm.
can't they just force all my neurons to do what they want? At which point, I plug in and all of a sudden I'm doing exactly what the guy at the keyboard says?
Yeah, but the only thing is, though, you'd have to still have a cable. Basically, you'd have to have a fiber optic cable.
And
going to
that's
everything.
like a long way down the road.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking pretty basic implementation
Yeah,
at this point.
I mean, what's going to happen here? This is going to mostly go into the way of, I'd say, possibly allowing stroke victims to have certain movement back or certain things back, or even further in the future. What I could see it going to is for blind people, people who were not born, or people born blind. I think that's going to be different. I don't know enough about how that works. But
say, the optic nerve's still there,
Exactly.
not functioning properly. It can be
Exactly.
stimulated, potentially, to
Differently.
function. Okay.
Exactly. So we kind of bypass the nerve. They already put the electrodes into your optical lobe anyway. Well, let's bypass that completely and just stimulate it directly with light. So you already have a fiber optic camera. Just port it right to.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting to see how this all pans out. Still kind of scary,
Little
but it could be cool.
keep it on the scary side of things. We're going smaller, and that's manipulating neurons you already have.
Yeah.
What about making new cells?
Yes, DARPA's kind of funding into the whole Borg nanoprobe thing, except they're not looking strictly mechanical.
Yeah, which is the interesting part, because, I
Yeah.
mean, nanotechnology's been developing forever, and I mean, small
Yeah.
machines are small machines.
Mhm.
That doesn't seem too out there, but when you start small biological machines...
Yeah, I mean, there's been always talk of building machines made of proteins that are literally just programmed chains of protein which go and destroy cancer cells. In this case, they're looking to actually create new. If I can quote the article, they're looking to bypass the slow process of evolutionary change and adaptation.
Because look at it this way: instead of making a machine that can go modify cells, they're looking at making a new cell that will behave as a cell, as in it can replicate, it can learn from other cells, it can penetrate environments,
And depending on the circumstances, it can even I use the term mate very, very loosely.
Cells don't really
Exactly.
do that. But DNA gets exchanged.
Exactly.
Through different processes. I mean, neither of us are biologists.
Yeah.
But DNA does get exchanged. That's how evolution goes forward, however slowly.
Exactly. So they're looking to speed this up, and it has a good premise. We talked about the skin gun last week, using your own stem cells from your own skin to create a wonderful, great regenerative process on just skin alone. These guys are looking to say, no, we're going to create a microorganism, or better yet, just create the bloody stem cell. We're going to create a universal cell, which will communicate to the other cells to figure out what it's supposed to be, just like a stem cell would. Except in this case, now we don't have to kill fetuses, human or otherwise. Now we don't have to rely on just a single DNA structure, a specific one being me or Scott's for himself. It now becomes, here's a gel, rub it on, away you go, sort of idea.
But where this goes downhill is they don't, since they're making it to behave as a cell, that's not 100% predictable.
No.
It's not a machine. It's not going to follow a set of instructions, and if it's not in the instructions, it does nothing. No. It's going to, behave like any other cell. So potential hazards, just, you could inject into your body, and all of a sudden it, accidentally brushes by a cancer cell, and now your cancer's way faster.
Exactly.
Or, they could just start spreading into all kinds of different organisms, different chains. So it's kind of... They want to build in a kill switch.
Yeah.
So basically, this is going bad, boom, and all the cells shut down.
But the problem with that is, of course, if they've interacted with enough cells and DNA's been exchanged, who's to tell? Like, if your healthy cells will then get shut down.
Yeah.
I mean,
if that bit of the kill switch in the DNA happens to transfer,
exactly,
then both those cells could be subject to it. Or they've said it's possible that it might just do nothing.
Yeah, the kill switch may not even work anymore because of mutation, because we are creating essentially a life form which is going to behave like life,
Which
natural
is,
life. And
very interesting. It's definitely going to keep going in this direction.
Yeah. I mean,
please, scientists out there, caution.
Lots of caution. I love the idea of just going willy-nilly, trying something, because we can. This could get really bad.
It's got big consequences if you kind of go all willy-nilly.
Stick with the mechanical. I'm cool with a little machine taking over my cell structures.
Roll her back a little bit,
Yeah.
one step at a time.
It's just creating a virus that technically would be new and may not be able to be fought off anytime.
Ever.
Is a little scary.
Yeah.
Mind you, though, keep on it. Just caution. But anyway, so that this new genetics form of mad science is enough to really wrap it up for this week.
It's time for Behind the Lens, folks. This week we've got a pile of cameras. Everyone's coming up with Nikon has a little something, Canon has a little something.
Apparently CES
Pentax.
wasn't good enough for everybody.
No, I mean, and they're going to do it now, a little bit later, a little bit later. They just bring them out all year.
Yeah. So we'll start it off with some lens news. First off, Sigma, Carl Zeiss, and Schneider Optics have all decided that they are going to start making lenses for Micro Four Thirds.
Which means that looks like that might be around to stay.
Yes, so Olympus and Panasonic users are going to be able to get some really nice prime lenses, some really nice quality glass from these guys, which is pretty cool. Sigma has also decided that they're going to start making lenses for Sony's E-mount.
Which is interesting because Sony put that spec out pretty recently saying, hey guys, please make our lenses,
Yep.
please. So
Hopefully that means Sony's going to hang around for a little bit longer as well. Sigma also announced a couple new lenses. Notably, they brought out a 50 to 150 f2.8 image stabilized lens. So that's a good option if you're looking for something that's in that 70 to 200 range, but maybe not quite as expensive. They came out with a 105 f2.8 macro lens, which they had a 70 before, but now they got a 105, and it's image stabilized as well. And they came out with a 120 to 300 f2.8 lens. So lots of range, very bright, image stabilized as well. So a couple cool new lenses to look forward to. All right, so on to some new camera announcements. First up, Nikon decided to bring out the P300, which is sort of supposed to compete against the S95 and the LX5 and everything, as it has an f1.8 lens. It's a 12 megapixel backlit CMOS sensor. It does 1080 30p, and it's got a 920,000 dot LCD. Problem with it, though, it's a 1/2:3 size sensor, so it's not quite as big as the S95 and the LX5. And they decided not to give you RAW capability, which is in the S95 and the LX5, and that's really one of the things that people buy it for. So it will be cheaper, but I don't know how well it's going to do because of that. They also brought out the S90-100, which is a replacement for the S80-100, and now has 18 times optical zoom, as well as 25 millimeter wide angle. So everyone's just up in their zoom range. And I talked before about the Canon SX30 having 35 times optical zoom and it being top of the class. Well, not anymore. They've brought out the P500, which has 36 times optical zoom.
wow.
But here's where it gets interesting. Not only do they have 36 times optical zoom, they started at 22.5 millimeter wide angle, which is the widest we've seen in a point-and-shoot camera to date. It also has 1080p, 920,000 dot LCD screen, and a 12 megapixel backlit CMOS sensor, and those are also in the S90-100. So a couple of new point-and-shoots from Nikon. All of them seem to be fairly impressive, and we'll see how well they do. Canon decided that they were going to bring out a new SLR.
Yes, they updated the T2i.
It's now the T3i.
Big shocker.
If you own a T2i, here's what you're missing out on: a swivel screen. That's the end of my story. That's what you're missing out on. It basically has all the same functions as the T2i, except it's added the swivel screen that the 60D has, and it's also added the audio control that the 60D had. So previously, when I mentioned that if you were looking for a Canon camera to shoot video with, and you weren't buying the 7D for monitor output, buy the 60D. No, don't buy the 60D. Buy the T3i, as it's now cheaper and does everything else the same.
Is the T3i priced similarly to the T2i?
It'll be around that price, and then the T2i will likely get cheaper. But they've also decided to bring out the T3 to replace, I guess, the T1i, really. But they kind of took a step backwards with that guy, because it only has 720p video.
Interesting.
So whereas Canon has always had the lead, because all their cameras have had 1080p, and other companies were like, we only have 720p.
Now they're releasing something with only 720p.
Now Canon's like, well, we'll just give you 720p. It's like, that's really...
Are we seeing a big price drop for that?
Well, it will be cheaper. We don't really know what the price is of it yet, but it will be cheaper. Oh, interestingly enough, the T3i is going to be available in black, silver, brown, and blue.
Okay, that's a little interesting.
Because apparently Canon needed to join the colored SLR game because Pentax was getting way too much spotlight for all their crazy colors.
Yeah, but at least when Pentax does it, it's unique. Now it's Canon's like, we can do it too, blue and brown.
Yeah. They've also added a really useful feature, burst video. So now when you hit the record button, you can take video in either a 2-second, 4-second, or 8-second burst.
What?
I don't know why you need a 2-second video clip. You might as well have just taken 4 photos.
Yeah.
But apparently that's a super useful feature. Oh, and they added bass boost to playback. Woo! All kinds of awesome features. I don't know what you were thinking, Canon. That's not a camera upgrade. That's you going, damn, we should have put a swivel screen in the first place.
Should have been like the T2IB or something.
It's really good. You're charging an extra $300 for a firmware update.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Yeah, great.
They did bring out some new point-and-shoot cameras, though. They brought out the SX230, which has the same 14 times optical zoom the SX210 did. They've decided to dial back the megapixels from 14 to 12. And they've added 1080 24p and GPS.
It's not a huge change there either.
No, not really. That's really all I want to talk about. Oh, never mind. They did bring out some speed lights. They have a new 320EX and a 270EX. And they did bring out a kind of interesting new lens. They have a 200 to 400 f4 lens, but what's neat about it is it's got a built-in 1.4 times teleconverter that you can flick on and off. So that's kind of cool. I don't know, Canon's just kind of like, you keep buying our stuff, so we'll give you as little... They're pulling an Apple, really.
They are.
They're giving you literally the minimum amount that you would consider an upgrade because they know you'll buy it.
Yeah. Look, the screen swivels now, and you can get it in blue.
Yeah. Oh, I want it!
I don't know about you, but I want a T3i.
Yeah. Pentax decided to update their waterproof camera. It's now the WG1, because I guess they had a whole bunch of it was 60 and 70 and 80 and 90, so I guess instead of doing 100, they're just going to start at 1 again.
Okay.
I don't know. Just GPS. It's waterproof to the same depth. It's pretty much the same camera, except that it's got GPS on it now.
Woo!
Olympus announced a bunch of new cameras. I don't care about any of them. So that's...
And
if you care, go look them up.
It should speak to something, because we just talked about a bunch of Canon cameras that didn't change much.
Well,
So what's
Olympus
Olympus
probably
doing?
did stuff, but, I don't care.
He can't be bothered.
No.
More interestingly, we got a product to tell you about.
Yes. So we like filmmaking products, and we like filmmaking products that don't break the bank. And that is what this is. This is made by a company called Konova. They're based out of, I believe, Korea. And most of the time, when you buy a cheap slider, which if you don't know what a slider is, it's a device that lets you do this.
Slide.
Which is really great when you want to add some movement to your shots, because everything being locked off can get boring. And sometimes you just want a bit of camera movement in your shot to make things a little bit more enticing. But the problem is that if you buy a cheap slider, it's usually a friction-based slider, which means that it's probably got some tubing on it, and then it has some stuff on that tubing, and it's usually sliding over some felt or things like that. Which is okay, but it doesn't allow you to do something like this.
No, because you'd more get an action like that.
Yeah, because the friction really fights back. So in order to get the movement that we just did, you basically need to have ball bearings. Now, unfortunately, the entry-level ball bearing slider is about $500 or $600.
Yeah.
That's where Konova comes in. This guy costs, if you buy it off their website, it's $310. If you find it on their eBay page, I believe it's still going for $285. So for $285, you get a 4-ball bearing slider, which is an insanely good deal. Not only that, it's a really well-built product. I mean, the metal is all pretty solid.
It's very solid.
The cartridge is adjustable, so you can adjust the friction on the ball bearings, so you can have it have more or less play. We have it a little too loose, so it shakes a bit, but I know I can adjust it, so that's the good thing. You got a little brake on the front here, which locks it down, prevents it from moving, which is kind of good. What's really cool is a lot of the time when you buy these sliders, you have to pay extra for their sort of all-terrain legs. This guy, you get the legs with it. So basically, they give you little height-adjustable legs.
Yep.
You just thread them up or down, little rubber feet on them. But if you're not using the legs, there's actually rubber on the bottom of the slider as well. So you can actually just put it right down on a table or a floor without worrying about scratching stuff because they've put rubber down here. Now, what else is cool about it is they've got a mounting point here, mounting point here, mounting point here. But they've also put mounting points on both sides. So that's pretty cool, because what that allows you to do is basically take the slider and mount it vertically. So now that you mount it vertically, you can now do a shot where the camera is going to do an up or down. So it can almost mimic a sort of crane movement. And even to make it a little bit more versatile, you can unthread these legs, basically put them in a cross pattern, and then thread them in the bottom. So you don't even need to necessarily have a tripod to do that movement. You can do it with the legs that are already included. I also forgot to mention, give me a second here, magics of the internet, they give you a really great carrying bag as well. So normally something you'd probably pay like $40 for or something, and you get this carrying bag for free with it. So we've been playing with it, and I mean, what's your opinion on it?
Overall, price to I've played with some $1,500 sliders.
Well, when we reviewed the Cinevape product, that was a $1,500 slider.
And you can probably tell the difference maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's more ball bearings and moving's a little more, but dollar to function, you can't go wrong.
You can't, no.
I mean, you're going to get shots that maybe if someone's been, if someone has done a lot of shooting themselves might be able to notice the difference. But I mean, it's very smooth. It's the feature, the build quality is really good. I mean,
all the metal pieces are really solid on it. It's a pretty good length too. I mean, it's an easy length to travel with.
Yeah.
And you can set it up pretty easily. And you don't need a whole lot of length to a slider shot in order to get an effect from it.
No.
And you can do things, if you mount it on the side, you can even do it at an angle and get some sort of, some follow shots, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, we had it mounted on our tripod earlier, and we just had it, tilted a little bit, and it'll just move slowly.
Yeah, it'll move
By
under
itself.
it'll move under
But
its own weight.
most
which is
importantly, at a consistent rate.
nice. Yeah.
Because generally, if something's tilted like that, it's going to accelerate and kind of hit the bottom. No, very smooth, very controlled. It's really good for the dollar value, I think.
Yeah. Obviously, it works best when you put a head on it because it comes with a 3/8 inch screw, which really isn't designed to go directly into a camera.
No.
So you either need to get a new screw for it or you need to put a head on it. But ultimately, you really want to put a head on it.
Yeah, I think so.
This is one of those scenarios where ball heads are actually really versatile because it allows you to go and mount the camera sideways if you want to do a horizontal or a vertical shot.
Yeah.
But obviously, you can put a normal pan head on it as well. They give you these little guys as well, which is kind of nice. These are basically to clean the rails, and they also act as a bumper, so you can kind of use it to actually stop you at a shorter part if you want to. And you can take them off completely and then gain yourself an extra inch of travel.
Yeah.
So I think we highly recommend this, basically because if you are getting into entry-level filmmaking, a slider is a really useful tool for getting some more dynamic to your shots. And this really doesn't break the bank. If you buy it on eBay, it cost me $40 to get it shipped here, so it was $335 out of my pocket to get it to my door, and that's an amazing price.
Yeah, and really, if you're an amateur filmmaker and you're thinking, I've got a tripod, what's a good, I got a little bit of money, what's another gear? This is a good step.
Yeah.
You can add a little bit of dynamics to those
If you've
shots. It gives
already
you
got
a few more options.
If you've already got a fluid head and a tripod, really the next thing I recommend is a slider,
Yeah.
because you can use it for so many things. So we've put a link to Konova's website in the show notes, so you can check it out if you want to order one. They also sell some other stuff. They got a cool spider tracks dolly, and they also sell lighting and everything like that. Pretty well priced stuff. So if you go and check out their website, you can order it. Also, if you search for it on eBay, you might be able to find it for a little bit cheaper. It's coming directly from them, so either way you get it from the same company. But overall, it's a big thumbs up for us on the Konova Slider. All right, and that brings us to the end of Behind the Lens. Hey everybody, it's that time of the week where we try to make you laugh with something funny we found on the internet.
This one's particularly funny to me, anyway.
Well, okay, so the thing about this one is you really have to watch to the end because it's kind of funny, it's sort of funny, and then it gets really funny.
Yeah.
So basically, we're going to play it for you. It's not very long, so we'll play the whole thing for you. And let's just say it's drunk science.
Hey, Tom.
What?
Alcohol!
Woo! Yeah! Woo! Yes! Woo! Drug science!
What happened last night?
Did we do drunk science again?
Yep.
Oh, this has to stop.
Where am I? Where the hell am I? What are these? What the hell are these? What's with these ducks? Son of a bitch!
So, I love that. Just because that talks about... You watch the show. You watch my segment. It's not that far off.
That's what happens when him and beer
Ugh.
and a chemistry seg. That's what happens.
Lots of beer. Lots of chemistry sets. But either way, mind you though, I don't ever recall making a new type of bear.
No, you just created the first polar bear.
Oh, okay.
He just wasn't white. And he had no idea what penguins were.
No, they're ducks, man.
Well, he thinks they're ducks.
They're ducks.
All right. Either way.